welcome to today's video. I will show you how you can fix the Google Merchant Center suspension regardless of if it's a misrep, website needs improvement, or whatever is going on. I will show you how in some quick and easy steps. So let's dive straight into it. How to use this guide. So first of all, we go through everything step by step, top down. Identify first the suspension type, right? So don't overreact, don't touch anything. Before that, you want to see, okay, what's actually going on? Because sometimes you get the notification about a misrep, for example, but in a lot of cases, it just affects free listings and you can still continue to run ads normally, right? So that's important, because if that's the case, then you don't want to touch anything and break the setup that's still working. Go for everything step by step that I show you here. Like I said, fix only what's relevant. Don't try to invent something new or something that you saw here and there. Just focus on the basics, what's relevant to be fixed. Don't tweak too many different things that don't even make any sense. And the fourth point, really good point as well. If you're done with all the changes and improvements that I will show you here, right? Don't immediately request for a review. Wait 2-3 days. Give Google some time to index and crawl everything, because otherwise you make the changes, you request for a review, and Google didn't even recognize your changes yet, right? So give it some time. You can also use the Google Search Console to speed it up, upload your sitemap again, and then it starts to index faster, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So wait for indexing and then request a review at the right time. And don't just randomly request for reviews, right? Make the changes first, because it gets harder and harder with every review to get it live. So you want to make the changes first, and then you have to be pretty sure about getting it right and getting it back. All right, so that's pretty much it. Step number 1, identify the suspension type. Like I said before, right? You want to know, okay, what is this about? Is it a misrep? Is it website needs improvement? Maybe it's just free listings, like I said before, right? And then you don't want to touch anything. So that's the first step. Sounds logical, but can also be, sometimes you get notifications and you think something is disapproved and you start to overreact. And maybe it's just like a feed mismatch, right? And it's not even an account suspension, but just a product suspension or a feed issue that you can easily fix. So never touch things blindly. Check the situation first and then we act accordingly, right? Then the most important root cause for misreps is if there is a information discrepancy with your business identity or an information discrepancy in general, right? But business identity, the most important things you want to clearly state in the footer and on the rest of your site. Okay, what is the business? What's the address, phone number, email address, and all of that has to work and needs to be correct, right? Based on your business license. And that same information needs to be reflected in the GMC. So business name consistency, like I said, the information needs to be reflected everywhere on the website in the GMC. You cannot say one thing there and one thing on the other side, right? So it needs to be consistent. Like I said, address validity, make sure the contact information is correct, and that's pretty much it, right? Sounds easy, but just make sure it's done properly and you don't invent any weird business info, because obviously Google will be able to track that, right? Just the basics, basically, nothing new. Next step, policy pages, also super important. Sounds easy as well, but just make sure it's done properly. If you use any type of templates, don't just copy paste randomly what everybody has on the store, because then it's an issue as well, right? Just come up with a good policy template, adjust it accordingly for your purpose, and make sure the information is correct. And again, information consistency, right? So whatever you have on your website about shipping, for example, if you say on your website 7-day shipping, you cannot have 30-day shipping in a GMC. Of course, that will flag something, right? So you want to make sure information consistency, everything is easy to read and not vague in any shape or form. So you don't want to have information that sounds unclear or inconsistent as well, right? It should be very straightforward, easy language, easy to read, very clear. Okay, what's the return policy? What's the refund policy? What's the shipping conditions? How does it work, right? You want to have those pages, return and refund policy, shipping policy, contact page, about us page, also recommended, privacy policy, and terms and conditions, basically. So just the basics that you have on every store, and that's pretty much it. Again, very straightforward as well. It's just about making sure everything is clear, right? Clear is the keyword here when it comes to everything. Business information, policy pages, Needs to be very clear. Next, product claims and content conflict. So here again, needs to be consistent across the whole site, right? You don't want to have any conflicting language, or even within the product. For example, if you say one thing in the title, you cannot say something else in the product description or in the feed, what gets pushed to the GMC, right? So it needs to be consistent. Everything needs to match. Avoid sales in marketing language like, oh, this is the #1 product, when it's not really like verifiable, just keep it clean, clear, clean information over like sales in marketing language, right? Especially if it's like pushy or incorrect, of course. Very straightforward as well. And then again, here point about information consistency, no mismatch on every level, right? Also includes the feed. So you don't want to have any feed information that's not correct on the website, like price, for example. If in your feed it says the product costs $100, for example, but it's actually like $200 on the site, that's an issue as well, right? Very basic, of course, but just make sure you don't have any feed quality issues whatsoever. The price is correct, availability, especially the main things. Nothing fishy with the product title or like weird spelling mistakes or even like salesy language there again. Avoid capital letters in the product title as well. Google doesn't like it, and then it disapproves either your product, or if there are like too many issues with your business overall, the whole GMC, right? Just make sure the feed has a good quality overall. All right, trust signal manipulation, very straightforward, very self-explanatory as well. Don't use any fake reviews, right? No social proof, no fake reviews, testimonials you got from another website. Like, of course, those things track something, and it's very easy for the crawler to verify that sometimes, right? So you want to avoid that. Don't do any of that, especially in the beginning, of course. Otherwise, you will have issues with your GMC. Broken links and technical stability. Basic SEO, another very straightforward point. You just need to make sure it's done properly. Of course, if Google recognizes, hey, this is a new site with a new domain, basically zero traffic, and I see 20 broken links or 2 buttons that are not working, that's just a signal for Google, hey, that's not a trustworthy site, right? And then you will experience issues with your GMC. So very straightforward. Unstable site, unreliable merchant, suspended. Google doesn't think too much about it. They just shut it down because they don't want to have quality issues. Make sure you have basic SEO, which includes, okay, policy pages set up properly, no conflicting information, no broken links, buttons are working. Or if you change any links, make sure you have a redirect, no unfinished pages, right? Where you have like 5 collection pages on the site and 4 of them are empty right now. That's also like, why is the page there, right? Why is it empty? Looks incomplete, looks unreliable for Google. No checkout issues. Make sure you have decent page speed. Make sure it's actually accessible on mobile as well. So on desktop and mobile, of course. And that's pretty much it here as well. Then behavior and upload pattern includes all the changes that they make. Do the feed, do your catalog, do the website itself, right? You don't want to do any suspicious changes, especially in the beginning when you just try to get live, when you just try to run ads. You want to keep it easy. You want to like get a clean basic store live, clean feed, clean catalog. Then you start to run ads, and you just want to build some trust with Google first before you do any changes later on. If it's already too late and you're already suspended, okay, then go back to that. Have a clean store, clean feed, clean everything. If you get it back, if you get it running again, keep it easy for 1-2 weeks before you start making any kinds of changes again, right? The more changes there are, especially random weird changes in the beginning, that can be a negative trust signal for Google. And then, like we said, the review timing, don't just do random reviews. First of all, go for everything first, make the changes, and wait a little bit, give it some time to get indexed again so the crawler can actually process your changes and then ask for a review. That's pretty much it. Why we don't make random reviews? Because with every time you have been suspended before, with every rejected review, it will get harder and harder to get it live. Because if you already got rejected twice, Google will put you in a different kind of category. They will be like, all right, already got rejected twice, doesn't seem to be reliable. They will probably start to check it manually as well, and it would just be more and more difficult for you to get it live compared to the first time. Because if you got suspended once, Google is still a bit more lenient, because then it's like, okay, maybe it was just like a one-time thing, right? Or a crawler issue. So the first time, it's still a bit easier. So you want to show Google, hey, you actually care. You did all the changes. You kept it simple. You stuck to that. And then there's also way higher probability that you get it live. If you're just like, oh, I will try it and see if I get it live, it will probably not work out. So yeah, that's everything you need to know. You see, there is no magic hack like that. There's no, oh, implement this and it will work. You just need to go back to the basics and make sure the basics are done properly. And that's it.